I want every American to know that I'm taking inflation very seriously, and it's my top domestic priority.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Jazzbro Gonzo here. Another episode of What's Next. Of course, as always, your home for facts and common sense. Well, as we have seen over the last week, the insanity, the buffoonery, the moronism, the idiocy, the assholery that is the left regarding the soon-to-be overturning of Roe v. Wade, to the point where they have gone to the justices' addresses, of course, being doxxed, and to the point where they have driven some of the justices out of their own homes into safety because of potential attacks. But in other news, Joe continues to fuck the economy and blames on everybody but himself. This comes out of Breitbart. Joe Dementia blames everything but himself for inflation in speech offering zero solutions. No surprise. President Joe Dementia delivered another speech at the White House about inflation on Tuesday, blaming everyone but himself for skyrocketing prices. The president refused to take responsibility for inflation, arguing his trillions in dollars in government spending in 21 were only trying to help people. Yes, help me to help you. That's all he's saying. I think it's our policies help, not hurt. He said to reporters when asked if he accepted responsibility for the problem. The vast majority of economists think that this is going to be a real tough problem to solve, but it's not because of spending. No, not me, he said. The president spoke as gasoline and diesel prices hit new record highs in the U.S. When asked what he thought Americans continue to blame for higher prices, or why he thought. Biden acknowledged that the Democratic Party was in power in all three branches of government, but he said inflation was really complicated. Yes, it's really complicated. As you can see there, yes, they did it. Right now it's confusing. There's a war in Ukraine and they're scratching their head, Biden said about the American people. Most people, the vast majority of Americans, are hoping that their government just takes care of the problem and they don't have to think about it in detail at the kitchen table, he continued. Biden said, the average person just didn't understand why inflation was happening and tried to signal he understood their concerns. Look, I know you got to be frustrated. I know. I can taste it, he said. Okay. Biden blamed Russian President Vladimir Putin because, of course, the COOF and big corporations and inflation, and berated the ultra MAGA Republicans for blocking his superior agenda. The president mistakenly said Senator Rick Scott was from Wisconsin. Of course he did, and said the senator has a problem when told about Scott's call for him to resign. Resign? That's a good idea, Biden replied sarcastically. He also insisted inflation was his top domestic priority. The president rehashed his previous attempts to address inflation and high gas prices by releasing more oil from strategic oil reserves. Yeah, because the first $50 billion that you released the first time was a drop in the bucket. Shifting American energy production away from oil to green energy sources, like solar and wind, that even Elon Musk says, yeah, that won't do shit. Putting price caps on insulin and offer government subsidies to make buildings more energy efficient. When asked how long he expected inflation to last, Biden replied, I'm not going to predict that, but it's going to be a hell of a long time.
But first, I want us to be crystal clear about the problem. There are two leading causes of inflation we're seeing today: the onset of Delta and Omicron viruses. A second cause, Mr. Putin's war in Ukraine, was due to price increases at the pump for gasoline. Putin's war has raised food prices as well, but it hasn't because of Putin's invasion. But it's difficult because, again, of Putin and the Russians' invasion of Ukraine.
Oh, my thoughts. Living in a clown world, my friends. We're living in a fucking clown world. When you have a dementia-riddled old man with his finger on the nuke who says his top priority is inflation, if you looked over the last week and a half, yeah, where was the inflation then? While Supreme Court justices are chased from their homes because of douchebaggery and butthurt feelings, now the economy is a priority. Now inflation is a priority. When for the first 5 months of this year, the inflation and economy wasn't even mentioned. It was an afterthought. Like the situation in Ukraine, an afterthought. Because, of course, priority is make sure Roe doesn't get overturned because, priorities. New levels of stupid, my friends. New levels of stupid are reached every single day. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.